if you can find that horse for you or you have that horse that is going to work for you, that's the one you need to do it with.
Yeah.
When I bought her, people were like, what did you buy? And I'm like, no, trust me, this horse, it's going to do it.
Yeah.
But so many people had no idea what I saw in this Palomino reining horse.
Yeah.
But I was so insistent. I really think that if you have that with a horse, you can do so much.
Yeah.
You don't need the 6-figure, big-time horse to go and be successful.
Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach.
Today, we are thrilled to have on Alexis Daugird. She is an incredible rider who has been having an incredible show here at the 2025 APHA World Championship Show. She started off the week strong by competing with her ranch horse in the amateur equitation, earning a top 10 award. And then last night, she ended up winning the novice amateur horsemanship, which just, what a thrill it was to watch. So fun, so precise. Alexis, congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about that win and what it means to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was insane to take a horse that just over a year ago had never done horsemanship or any of the classes that we're showing her in, and then taking her at this level and being able to compete has just been amazing.
Yeah, so let's walk me through that run. I know it was one of your goals to win that class specifically.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare to win it?
Yeah, so I'm very much somebody that is very methodical with my pattern. So I spent a lot of time not on Lulu, but just figuring out where I wanted my markers to be, how I was going to run her through it. Basically, this pattern had a majority of our strengths in it. There were very few weaknesses for us in it. When I saw the patterns when they came out, I was like, okay, I think we can get this done. So getting ready, it was basically just knowing what I had to do to get first in the correct spots. And as long as I laid it out what I knew we could do, it was going to go well.
That's awesome. So you talked about that the pattern had a lot of your strengths. What did you do to not let your weaknesses drag you down?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a lot of just pushing those big maneuvers that I knew that we would be good at, those large, fast, that's where her background is. So I knew I could really push that. So going in, I really had the opportunity to get big pluses on that kind of stuff in the turns. And then on other things, like the square corners that she is greener at, just really helping her through it and still pushing it as hard as I could, but just being aware that this maybe isn't her best place and I need to be there to help her.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's what I always try to do is if I have a quote unquote weakness is let's just zero that part and try really hard to emphasize the good parts and don't try to be a hero in a place that doesn't necessarily need you to be. So when you walked down that chute, did you feel nervous?
Oh, I was so nervous. I mean, I knew coming in that I had the pattern, I had the horse, I had the plan to possibly win this class. So it's way more nerve-wracking than a class that, it is what it is.
Right.
So I was very nervous going in, just knowing that we had the chance to do it.
Yeah.
But thankfully, over the years, I've gotten better at calming those nerves. I had a horse, one of my great youth horses, Feeling Hot. She very much taught me how to calm myself because if I didn't, she was going to feed off of it. And it was not going to be a good go. And she was such an amazing horse that I figured out pretty quick what I needed to do so that we could go in there and win.
Yeah. So what is it that you do?
Just a lot of deep breaths, realizing that, I just got to calm down. If I don't, it's going to be bad. Almost just realizing if I keep this anxiety up, it's going to be worse. So I need to calm down.
Yeah. So you mostly the breathing is what
Mhm.
helps you.
Definitely.
Is there a certain type? Like, if you had to describe your breathing, what would you say that you do to calm yourself?
I think it's just like the deep breathing of like the breathe in 1, 2, 3, kind of counting
Yeah.
to try to like center myself and make sure that I know what I'm doing, I am where I am,
Yeah.
and just finding some sense of calm.
Yeah. Once you start going, after you've hit that start cone, do you feel yourself kind of going into the zone, or do you feel yourself being nervous throughout most of the pattern?
I think once that pattern starts, I'm going somewhere. The worst part is, standing there and
Yeah.
not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
Once I move in, I can do something and I can take control, or I can trust her to kind of do it. But when we're just standing there and there's nothing to do, that's when the nerves hit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel. As soon as I start, it's like I go into, I don't know, I hit the zone and I feel myself just thinking about each stride, the next stride, the next stride, the next stride. And I'd say about halfway through, there's a part of me that then just takes a breath and evaluates
Mhm.
how we're doing. Like, okay, we are on track, or okay, Lauren, you need to ride a little stronger. And then we just get back in the zone.
Mhm.
But was there any point in that pattern where you thought it's going pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, once we came out of that small slow and I cued her to go off and she just kind of tucked her head and went, it's like, okay, we're almost done.
Yeah.
The hard part is over because she'll always come back, but it's that finding that happy medium of not letting her go into a small slow like the Rainers do,
Yeah.
where they slam down and kind of sometimes do that trope kind of thing, because that she will do if I'm not careful. So going into that small slow, I had a really big, large fast. So coming down, I just wanted it to be smooth and correct.
Yeah.
So she came right back to me. It was smooth. It was nice. It wasn't that trope kind of lope going on. And then when she took right off, I was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it was just beautiful to watch. Every maneuver was just bam, bam, bam. And you could tell that you had a plan and you were executing it. And it was really fun. So I'm really glad that it all came together for you. So what inspired you to take a reining horse and turn her into this phenomenal all-arounder, plus continuing and doing the ranch and the reining?
Yeah. So look, after my freshman year of college, being on the USC equestrian team, where I was riding the horsemanship, I kind of wanted a change of pace. So I'd grown up doing the hunter in her saddle, the over fence stuff, really just the green hunt cedars.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking to buy. Then after that freshman summer, basically I was looking for a 17 hand, bay hunt behavior. And I had unfortunately had a handful of them sale the PPE.
Uh-huh.
And then coming into my sophomore year, I kind of was at the point of, well, I'm just not going to get a horse right now. That's fine. And I was just going to kind of keep going on the track that I was on. But then Martina messaged me and I ended up going out there to try this Palomino rating horse that's, was not at all what I was looking for. But I just really clicked with her. Martina knew that this was going to be a big time horse for me. And I just loved her. The plan was to do the ranch and the reining with her.
Okay.
But with my college background in the horsemanship, we ride a lot of ex-reiners in the horsemanship. So having her, I was like, this could be fun. And also it kind of got her mind off of the reining and it was a good change of pace for her. And then she just really took to it. And I realized how high level she really could be at it as long as we went about it the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, she just went full speed ahead.
Yeah, and there was just no stopping.
Yeah.
And then you taught her the showmanship
Mhm.
yourself, correct?
Yes. Yep, I started her in the showmanship the day that I tried her.
Wow.
I wanted to see if she was going to be willing to do it. I was like, some horses, you can teach them even though they maybe don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to teach the ones that have a sense of body control or just are willing to do it. And of course, she had no idea what she was doing. I didn't have a saying or anything. But she was like, I guess I'll do this for you. Weird person I don't know. But when I saw how willing she was to do all these things that I was throwing at her, I was like, I think that this can be a really cool all around horse.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things for the all around is
Mhm.
having a great minded partner
Yeah.
that just says, yes, I'll try.
Mhm.
I might not understand and I might not be able to do it, but I'm gonna try. It's kind of like us as riders, a lot of things that we talk about is having that growth mindset.
Mhm.
I do think horses can have that in a
Yeah.
way. And it's probably not maybe as thought out and logical as that for them, but there are some that say, yes, I can expand and do
Mhm.
better. And then there are some that just are like, nope. Not gonna
100%. I mean, there are countless horses out there that have all the talent in the world, but aren't out there winning because they don't have the heart or the try or the willingness to do so. I'm very lucky that with her, she's extremely talented and she's also extremely willing.
Absolutely. And then going back to the growth mindset, like it's very obvious that you both in your personal life and with the horses that you have a very strong growth
Mhm.
mindset with a huge work ethic. And is that kind of something that came naturally to you or have you had to develop that over time?
I mean, I think that everybody kind of has to develop the reality of some things are going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky that growing up, especially with the green junior hunt cedars that I was mostly showing, there was a lot of trial and error with them. You could do everything right and, a 3-year-old 17-hand hunter under saddle course still might not do it for you. And especially when I was trying to do the pattern classes with these greener horses, it was a lot of just, okay, well, that didn't work. I guess we just have to work on X, Y, and Z or try something else.
Mm-hmm. And what kept you going when things weren't going well?
Yeah, I think that one, just the love for the sport, getting to have a connection with an animal that's this strong is so special and it's something that you can't really get anywhere else. But also the equine community. I mean, there's always going to be bad parts of it, but I think that the overwhelming community that we have, whether it's quarter force paint, other associations, it's such a strong and amazing community to be a part of. I've had so many lifelong friends that I've met through horses that even if one day, I don't have a horse, I'm going to be at the shows.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that was so fun about getting to finally meet you is we had connected on Facebook. And then when we were standing in the lineups, you were so kind and you just started talking and like you can tell that you just have this light. And I think that that's really important in this community is to reach out and befriend people, whether you know them or not, or whether you supported each other on social media or not. And I think that's what's really, really cool is because then, we've gotten to like talk more about the show and I've been cheering you on. And it's so fun to be able to have somebody that you can be excited for when they have their successes and stuff and stand with on the wall. And
without a doubt. And I think that, one thing that I'll never understand is that the people that don't want to be friends with the people that are better than them. Those people that you're going head to head with are, in my opinion, the people that you should be closest with because they're going to push you to be better. And also, if you're at the top, being friends with people also at the top, that's the community.
absolutely.
The people that shun away others that beat them, that's not the kind of atmosphere that we should be creating.
Absolutely. Because there was saying iron sharpens iron for a reason, right? Is that we all make each other better and we can all learn from the different aspects and stuff. And it's really, really cool to be able to have that nice mix.
Yeah.
And so another event that you did super great where we first started talking was in the Hunt Seat Equitation, which I got to see your pattern and I was like, that girl, she was getting it. Like it was incredible. And your body position was great. But you mentioned earlier that you did some hunters.
Yes.
So how has that transition been from doing hunters to horsemanship on the team to reining? Like that's a lot of different things to ask your body to do.
The over fence stuff has definitely helped and farmed me in a lot of ways.
Okay.
When it comes to horsemanship, I have a tendency to lean forward. And it certainly comes from the more I jump, the more I do it.
Okay.
So that's something that I battle. But when it comes to the, it's a great thing because my lower leg is always very strong.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
It's great.
From going over the fence, it has to be. I think that I also have learned a lot of suppleness in my elbows and just even in my wrists from jumping and learning to move forward, those speed changes. Alyssa Profrock is one of my trainers that I had as a youth who I adored, taught me a lot over fences and for the act on the flat. And they really do go hand in hand. It also really helps, my heel. Back when I was jumping more, my heel was insanely down.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad now, but back then it was crazy. So I think that the fences is such a great thing to do as an English rider, especially somebody showing the act on the flat. The goal is to look like you're able to go over a fence at any point.
Yes.
So just keeping that in the back of my mind, out of course, that we don't look like we're going to be going over any fences, but just trying to, even though we don't have your hunter look, because she is 15 hands, Palomino, with a long mane.
So cute.
Just trying to emulate, a 17 hand working hunter horse,
Right.
even though that's not what I'm on. Still pushing her out at the trot, moving forward, and just all of those little things that, even though we aren't the big front seater, trying to act like we are.
Yeah. Well, and it looks great. And like your 2-point was phenomenal. Your leg looks so good. I had a short stint with jumping during COVID. And the highest I ever jumped was 2 foot.
Yeah.
I thought that was plenty for me. It was
Fair
enough
enough.
excitement. Looking back, the horse could probably just walk over it. But it was very exciting. And my lower leg had never been better than it was then. And I haven't done it in a while. And after a while, I watched my 2-point. I was like, one week. Maybe I should go back to doing a little bit of jump.
Yeah.
Do it.
He's so much stronger.
Yeah. Do you do it anymore?
Yeah, I actually, even over spring break, I went down to Ocala and was able to go visit Bria Morgan, who is awesome, and she was letting me jump some of her horses.
Yeah.
She has a string of just absolutely amazing horses under her that she's done a great job training. So I got to hop on for I think I was there for 5 days.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
just jump just work them on the flat. It was great.
Yeah, that's so much fun. And I think too, so for me, I did a little bit of jumping. I spent a couple years doing the reining. My grandparents have cutters, so I spent maybe 2 summers doing cutting with them. And I think just being able to learn from all the different disciplines, like we can take it and then mold it to our horse, mold it to ourselves. And because everyone does it just slightly different, but we're all trying to accomplish the same thing. And that's lift with your horse and connection and like connection to the shoulders. And I just love that you are going out and trying different things.
100%.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pen anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and I'm here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Hi everyone, it's your personal trainer Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
And, I actually keep a list of every horse that I've ever sat on.
Okay.
And it's up to, I think, 165 now.
Oh my.
And the variety in there is insane. I mean, it's everything from 13-hand hunter ponies to 18 two-hand warm bloods.
Oh my God.
And I think that the diversity that I've gotten the opportunity to ride, not only size-wise, but discipline-wise, has just always added to my ability as a rider. Because every horse I've ever sat on, every trainer that's ever coached me, has given me something new for my toolbox.
Absolutely.
My coach at USC, Coach Kathy, who's the reigning coach, goes on and on about the toolbox. And, it's totally a very important thing because, whether it's Lulu, who's a, 15-hand reigning horse that I'm doing horsemanship with, or a 17-hand fancy horse that I'm trying to get around in the horsemanship, I have the tools to do both. And I also think it helps me be able to respond to them better because in different scenarios, horses aren't going to act like they do at home.
Right.
So being able to quickly adapt and maybe pull something from a horse that I'd ridden in the past to just quickly use in that moment is really helpful in the pen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, you can plan as much as you want, but you don't know what's going to happen as you step in there. And some of the things that the horse has done, they might do it for the very first time in the pen.
Yep.
And so being able to pull from that toolbox, you can make adjustments within milliseconds and then nobody will notice. And then you can come out and be like, oh, what the heck happened? And then your coach or your friends are going to say, I didn't see it. Yeah. So after riding that many horses, is there one common theme that you can pull from it that you would like give as advice to people?
I mean, I think that, and this isn't about a specific horse, but just being willing to ride anything that you get the opportunity to, whether it is a 4-H horse that you're like, why would I get on it? Well, it might have something to teach you.
Yeah.
Or maybe the person that you're learning from is going to be able to tell you something that you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
Just being open to different tactics, I think, is a really important thing.
Yeah.
And that comes from coaching, but also from getting feedback from the horse itself. Just because as a rider, you do something very consistently, maybe that horse, or even it's your horse that day, that's just not working. And being willing to try something else instead of just continuing on with what you're doing is going to be a huge positive that I think a lot of people kind of miss out on, is the willingness to adapt to whatever scenario that you're in.
Yeah, and I think what you just said there is huge, right? Of being able to get the feedback from the horse. Like a lot of us can sometimes, when we're busy, have an agenda and say, okay, this is what I need to do today. And I've got so many other things going on. So I'm going to get on the horse. I'm going to accomplish the thing that I want to accomplish. And I'm going to get on. But just like you said, you have to be listening to that horse, because maybe your plan was to go and run 10 circles, change leads, and be done. But he's saying he needs some slow work, or he needs to work on his getting his shoulders up, and do things like that. But if you're not willing to listen to what feedback he's giving you, you could completely miss the lesson.
Yeah.
And have a bad day.
100%.
Yeah. And so, again, back to riding that many horses, do you have a type?
From everything I've ridden, definitely not. What I prefer, I will always be a mare person.
Yeah.
100%. I've gotten to ride some outstanding geldings, but I truthfully am a person that thinks that a mare's, if you can get that connection and trust with a mare, they're going to have more to give you than you've ever had on any gelding.
Yeah. Do you think that it takes a little more time to get that connection?
Certainly. I mean, with Lulu, I liked her feel. I really liked her from the get-go, but it took a month or so for us to kind of start to get that trust between us and the connection that allowed us to really build off of it.
Yeah.
And once we got that, then we were able to quickly move forward. But getting that foundation was what allowed us to go somewhere so fast.
Yeah, exactly. So you were the first person to step into the pen doing the showmanship, the horsemanship, and the egg on her. Can you talk to me about what kind of mindset you need to have when you're bringing along a green horse like that?
Yeah, I mean, with her knowing that she'd only ever shown the reining, she very much didn't love going into the pen. She had some anxiety about it. She kind of expected every time she went into the pen, she was going to have to go run these reining patterns. And not that anybody had ever been overly mean to her or abusive in any way, shape, or form. It's just that she had to work really hard. So going into our very first show, doing only classes that she had never done before and had only been doing for about a month, Julie Kennedy, who had her for that month that I had her with, had done a great job with her. But we knew that going in, our plan was just whatever happened, happened. Going in every time, just trying to make it a good experience for her. So, I mean, I went into some walk trot classes just in the all breed solely because I just wanted her to go in there, have a good experience, get lots of pets, and come out.
Great.
So it was just the repetition of every time she went into the pen. It wasn't hard anymore.
Right.
She just got to, walk, trot, lope around, not do anything crazy hard, and then get lots of pets and good girls. And she was like, this is pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah.
But when it came to, the pattern classes, really the goal was just to try to, like I said, make it the best experience for her, but also just what I knew we could succeed at. And the other things that we weren't really there with, just, get through it. Don't make it a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just get through it.
Yeah. Let that come when it comes. Kind of like when you're just breaking down one single pattern.
Yeah.
You let those weaknesses not be the end of you, but don't try to overdo it.
Yeah. Just kind of get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And so at this show, how many days were you there for?
So we got here on the 19th and we'll leave the 3rd.
Yeah.
So however many days that is.
That's a long time. How are you taking care of yourself to be able to make it that long and be able to compete at this highest level?
So it's definitely a struggle. My mom is here, which I'm lucky to have her, and she's constantly trying to force feed me water, electrolytes, or things like that. But I'm lucky that besides the next couple of days, we have more than one class.
Yes.
But in the past couple of days, we've only had one class a day or no classes.
Yeah.
So we really haven't been in a rush. The days have been pretty slow, which is nice. We're not running around trying to get a bunch of stuff done. I'm lucky that Lulu has been great in all of these pens. She doesn't care. So I'm not having to spend hours and hours in the middle of the night, trying to get her comfortable. She walks in there and doesn't care, which is ideal.
Yes, absolutely.
It makes my life a lot easier. So I'm lucky that most nights I'm able to be in my bed by 10 p.m. and then up at about 6 to come and feed her. But really for myself, just trying to make sure that, it's so hot here. I'm making sure she has water, she has hay. So whenever I get her water, trying to remember, okay, maybe I should drink myself.
Yeah.
Or things like that. And just making sure that when she has downtime, I'm also taking downtime. Because she is good. She's taken care of. I make sure she's taken care of first before everything else. And then as long as she's good, I can take that time to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so easy. And it's a good problem to have, but to prioritize our horses and make sure that they get their rest, make sure they get their food, they get their water, they get walked out, cooled down. And then for us, sometimes we run on empty.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last night, we came back to the stalls and it was about like 9:45.
Yes.
And I took my chaps off, and put the trophy down, took her neck ribbon off, pulled her saddle. And I still had my hat, my show shirt on, everything, and I was hosing her, getting her water, getting her fed. I was like, okay, now I can do my stuff. So it definitely is a back and forth between, yes, we 100% need to put the horse first, but sometimes we do need to take the time to ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, absolutely. And since it was such a late night, what did you do or what are you doing to appreciate that win that you guys got, right? Because it was a little bit of a whirlwind because you went from winning to having to go right back into the amateur.
Yeah,
Did you feel like you got to really let it sink in, or are you doing that today?
definitely not. I think that's gonna be really special when I get to go up there and get my jacket and everything like that. I'm really excited for that, and also just to take the rest of the day to, kind of chill out and just give her more pets, more treats,
Yeah.
and everything like that. But it was definitely not ideal having to go from winning, which was amazing, but then
To draw 4.
yes, draw 3.
Oh, draw 3.
Draw 3. So we definitely didn't have any downtime. I wasn't able to reschool her or anything like that. So we did have a bobble in the amateur. But I mean, to still make it back to the top 15 with a 5-point penalty,
Amazing.
I mean, I'll take it. And I think that we were 12, 13, something like that in the amateur.
Really
there. I was still super happy with her in the amateur. She gave me everything she had.
Yeah.
And just got a little bit tired and decided that we were done loping.
Yeah.
A little bit too soon.
Yeah.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. I wanted to take a moment to thank our very first gold sponsor, Hobby Horse Clothing Company. If you're looking for a cost-effective way to elevate your look at the horse show, check out what Hobby Horse has to offer. From budget-friendly crystal jackets to simple show shirts to stylish lifestyle tops, Hobby Horse has everything you need to look your best. Make sure you use code EYR2025 for an additional 10% off at checkout. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t-shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
So that's one thing that I was kind of thinking about lately is how do you handle being happy for what your horse gave you, but maybe a little disappointed that you're like, oh, it could have been a little better. So like, how do you talk yourself through a situation like that?
I'm thankful that I've kind of gotten to the point in my life that it's the reality of it is what it is. Going back to the college riding, it takes a toll on a lot of people. I mean, I have countless friends that after collegiate riding, they stopped riding.
Wow.
it burned them out. And then I have other friends that it reignited a flame in them that made them want to do it again. So it's really how you take it, and it's not only in the college riding, it's in riding in general. It's just how you take those ups and downs. So when, she broke on me, she had given me so much in that pattern and then came right back after she did that. I was sad that happened because now I looked at the score sheets earlier today and it looks like we would have been top 3 without the 5-point penalties. So it sucks, but just realizing that as much as this matters and how important this show is, also just realizing that it's a horse show and realizing that it's never that deep to, have a total meltdown about or anything like that, especially when my horse is trying so hard for me and giving me all she has. Going in and having a penalty like that, where it wasn't her trying to be naughty, it wasn't her, attempting to do anything wrong. It was just coming to a slowdown, and she took a couple more steps after we slowed down and decided that we were now going to the trots. And looking back, I was on such an adrenaline high that I probably didn't have my outside leg on for enough. I should have seen it coming. Things like that where, like I said, it's unfortunate that it happened, but it's not the end of the world that it did. I'm very lucky that I still have the rest of the year to show her. This isn't the end. We had such a big win that I couldn't have cared less about how we placed in the amateur. I just wanted to go in and have a good run. And even though we had that penalty, it was still a respectable go.
Absolutely.
It's been amazing to have all these people that I don't know come up to me and be like, that was such a badass pattern, or, your horse is so cool. Everything like that in classes that she's not made for has been such a cool experience too. So I think that the big lesson is when things go wrong, the biggest thing I can say is it's not that deep. This is important and it should be taken very seriously, but it's not worth killing yourself over.
And in the real world, you're an EMT right now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you see some things that are pretty deep.
And I think that, so I got my license at 18 in high school, and I think that being an EMS for 3 years now, it definitely altered perspectives too, because, you do get to see more of the real life. Then it definitely sometimes jumps you back into perspective of, oh, maybe that wasn't as serious. Or just the aspect of maybe it doesn't matter that much. When I have kids in the back of the ambulance or some pretty serious things and, you have family members crying or trying to get information about their loved ones, you realize that a horse show isn't your make it or break it. It's how you act and how you interact with others that's going to matter at the end of the day. Going back to the full idea of being friends with the people that you're going against, that maybe they beat you, maybe they don't, maybe they're your biggest competition, maybe they've never even touched you. It's the whole idea of nobody's going to remember how many world championships you had, or in collegiate riding, how many points you got. They're going to remember how you were as a barn mate, a teammate, a fellow competitor. And that's what's going to matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been one of the best things that you shared, right? Is because we're all going through something and we're trying our best and we're doing it. We're going out there doing what we love on horses that we love. And, we deserve to enjoy the time in the process and have people there that are supportive and fun. And I think you're doing just that. So keep up the good work. Yeah. So what's it like riding on a collegiate team?
I love it. I mean, I have, 44 other girls that I know are behind me just as much as I'm behind them. It's very interesting going from such an individualized sport and then making it a team sport.
Yeah.
And, you kind of have to change your perspective of, hey, it's not about me, it's about this team. What can I do to make this team succeed, not just myself? So it's learning to balance you wanting to succeed, but also realizing the bigger picture of your team winning.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And being on a collegiate team, you are fortunate enough to have a personal trainer. How has working out affected your riding?
Yeah, so I'm very lucky to our weight coach Dan. I love him to death. He is absolutely amazing. So we work out like 2 to 3 times a week, and it's mostly all weights. We do some cardio, but it's mostly like lunges and then quick into squats, that kind of idea. We're not just running everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that the weight aspect really aids all of us in strength in our legs and our core, which is so important in riding. That allows us to not only be better riders, but to also have that better image.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of your favorite workouts to do?
I definitely love abs. That's where I live on the mats. I prefer to be there. Take that over cardio any day. Everything ab wise, but then also love squats. Get strong there, make sure that my leg is strong enough to ride. All of those things really play a good part. And then also the Stairmaster is my favorite cardio because it's a love-hate relationship. I feel like I can do it for the least period of time of any cardio thing and get the most amount done.
Oh, right, absolutely. And it gets you that nice blooper.
Yeah, right. You're like, okay, I did something.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you work out before being on the team?
Yeah, not as much. I was always very active in high school. I was on my high school dance team. So more on the cardio side than the weight side.
Okay.
But I still did a bit of the weight stuff on my own, which was a great thing. And then adding it in more was a huge plus when I came onto the team.
Yeah. Do you think that you'll continue once you graduate?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed as long as I can get everything figured out.
Yeah, and make the time
Make
for
the
'em.
time, yes.
Yeah, because that's always the biggest thing, right? And I know it's all about prioritizing, and we can find time for the things that we prioritize, but sometimes it can be hard.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
tired at the end of the day and everything, but yeah, that's good. I hope you continue. Yeah, I know Ellie would be really proud of you.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you're at this horse show, do you do any type of foam rolling or stretching or anything to kind of relax your body and get it ready?
I definitely wish I had a foam roller here. I don't, but that probably would be great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just like making sure, even just like the standing stretches, just
Okay.
to kind of loosen up a little bit can always help. Even if it's just I have a wall and I can kind of twist my back a little bit. Yeah, just little things like that kind of add up and I think are helpful in the long run.
Definitely. And what do you do kind of for food when you're here?
Whatever is available.
Right.
The sounds good at the moment that I can force myself to eat because, I mean, overall, I'm a pretty darn good eater at horse shows.
Yes.
But, yesterday I was very nervous about the novice horsemanship.
Yeah.
And I texted my mom. I was like, hey, I'm getting chips and guac because that's the only thing I know I can eat right now. I'm like, I know I need salt and I need sustenance. That's the only thing that's going to go in my body.
Yeah. So you were saying before that you do need a lot of salt, so you need to watch your intake. What are kind of some tips and tricks that you have for that?
Yeah, so early on, when I was about 11, 12 years old, we figured out that I always had run relatively low blood pressures, but it wasn't anything alarming. But then I started passing out.
That's alarming.
Right before lunch or around that kind of period. And then we realized that my sodium levels were pretty darn low. So once we figured that out, thankfully it was a very easy fix of, okay, you just need to have more salt in your diet. And the little tricks that I use, especially at horse shows when it's so hot and, maybe I don't have access to a food that I want to eat. So instead of just not having it or just having chips that I don't want all the time. Just salt and water, and just little or Propel electrolyte packets. I really like those. I know there's some other liquid people like liquid IV packets or just other little things that they build up as long as you keep drinking them.
Okay.
There's also something called light salt that's just at the grocery store that has also potassium in it along with sodium that can help too with like the cramps.
Yeah.
So you're not cramping up in the middle of the pattern.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's a no bueno.
All that kind of stuff. Even just like little amounts, in my opinion, I don't taste it in water. I'll just use like a pinch of it.
Yeah.
I have that in my cupboard at home. And it is just a really helpful little thing that I'm not putting a bunch of effort into it, but it helps at the end of the day.
That's great. That's perfect. And that, like you said, it's just something nice and easy to be able to add and stay on top of. What are your favorite chips?
Oh, probably. Okay, I'm a big fan of sour cream and onion.
Okay.
Those Lay's chips, I can definitely go for those. I am a person that will put like potato chips on like a sandwich.
Ooh, yes, I do
Big
like
fan of that. Big fan.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. How's the chips and guac here?
Really good.
Yeah, I had a quesadilla the other day and it was really nice.
Wasn't it amazing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice that they have some decent on the grounds, right?
No, and the quesadilla is huge too. I was like, there was one day I ate all of it because I was really hungry, but otherwise my mom and I have been splitting. And it's great.
Right? Yeah, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg compared to what Fair Food online does, right? And it's just nice not to have like just heavily breaded everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have that.
Some sketchy cheeseburgers or something like that.
Exactly. So what's your goals for the rest of the week? I mean, you've got a few more days.
Yeah. I mean, we actually now have majority of our classes.
Oh.
We basically spent the last, I don't know what day we're on, but I'm going to say 10 days. This has only showing 4 classes.
Okay.
I believe 4-ish.
Yeah.
Time. And now majority of our classes are in the ranch and then the ranch raining.
Okay.
So we kind of have that over the next 3 days.
Okay.
So it's been really nice to kind of ease into it and not have to rush anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time to kind of get into the quote unquote classes that we should be good at. But it's nice to kind of have those classes that we have to prep a little bit more for, such as the equitation or the horsemanship.
Yeah.
Just because, those don't come as naturally.
Yeah.
So now we can kind of just coast through doing what we know what we do and not having to stress so much about it, which will be very nice.
That's good. So which event are you looking most forward to?
I'm really looking forward to the ranch raining.
Okay.
With her background in the raining, she's extremely good at it and she's really fun to show.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really get to practice any of the raining maneuvers at home. We don't have the dirt to do so.
Yeah.
But Julie Kennedy does such a great job just with keeping Lulu's head level and just in a really good space that allows me to just keep that connection with her.
Yeah.
And as long as I have her connected to my leg, we can basically go and do whatever maneuvers we need.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to the equitation of, not our quote unquote best event, but because we've spent so much time just working on having a connection from the bridle to my hands and my toes to my feet and to her legs and her back. And working on Julie's done a great job of just everything that we do. Lulu's very content with.
Yeah.
Nothing that Julie or I do with her ever really upsets her. She's a very forward moving and happy kind of horse. So as long as I just keep continuing to do what I'm supposed to do of just letting her move forward and be happy, things will go fine.
Yeah.
And the ranch raining is such a fun class that it kind of brings her back a little bit where she gets to go and stock really hard, but she's great at. Her turns are beautiful and her circles have gotten so much better since I got her because we've been doing the ranch riding and the horsemanship and all of our other stuff. And she has a better background in it now.
Yeah.
So now her circle, they're like, are we doing horsemanship or what are we doing? And I've also shown her in the Western riding. So
Cool.
her lead changes are great.
That's good. Yeah.
And she's just a good girl in it.
That's cool. So she's just getting broker, right?
Yeah.
And a broke horse is a good horse.
And she just keeps her head so level now that I rarely have to touch her.
Oh, that's so nice.
I mean, like I said, Julie's done a great job of creating that. And then Lulu it really speaks to her mindset of the past 10 plus days, no trainer has sat on her.
Wow.
It's just been me here riding her.
Yeah.
And at most shows, I'm the only one that rides her. So the fact that she's a force that allows a non-pro to maintain her at this level, I think really speaks not only to her, but also to all the training that Julie's done on her and just people in the past too.
And what benefits do you think you get from being pretty much the only one to ride her at shows?
I mean, I definitely think that I know her extremely well.
Yeah.
I'm able to predict this horse from a mile away, which is certainly helpful, especially on such a big venue where coming in, things were so new. I knew that she was going to like these pens because I ride her so much that I know kind of the pen that she may not like as much. She loves the Coliseum style places, which is not what most horses like, but that's like her ideal. The Will Rogers is like her ideal place.
Because she says, let's go here every day.
Yes. So I think that the biggest thing is being able to predict her like I can.
Yes.
And know what maybe we're going to need to work on a little bit more or what I can kind of just coast through and don't need to focus on.
Makes sense.
Is really helpful. And, even before we got here, like I said, knowing that I knew she was going to like these pens. And, when we got here, she did. So not having to spend all of that extra time in getting her settled in, I think that really is super helpful for me to be able to come into a venue that she's never been to and just know that it's going to be fine. Because I know her so well. And she's also a pretty just darn good horse.
Yeah.
Is really nice.
Cool. So what advice do you have for somebody coming to their first APHA World Championship show?
Ask questions. I mean, as you know, I talk to everybody. I don't shut up.
Oh, I love it though.
Reach out to people. I'm here with Paisley and Adam Mathis. They called Lulu here, and I basically begged them to let me stall with them. And then stalling with them turned into, hey, would you be willing to coach me in that? And then, hey, would you be willing to coach me in the horsemanship? And just getting help from other people is really going to be so helpful. And so many people are willing to. Steve Meadows is going to help me in the ranch stuff.
Cool.
And it's just, reaching out and asking. And I think we had talked about, too, in the past of you don't have to be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes it's going to be a no. And that's just, as long as you are respectful in the way that you ask and are fine if it is a no, then you can move on. But some trainers, they have so many horses that they just don't have time, or maybe they have an exhibitor that's going directly against you.
Right.
So they don't want to have that conflict of interest.
Right.
Which is all completely understandable. But a lot of those professional horsemen are willing to help, or just other amateurs are willing to give, maybe not coach you, but give helpful advice on, oh, well, I would maybe run this pattern this way, or these are my markers that I'm using. Just little things like that are really helpful. And I think that the biggest thing is just start asking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head too, that a lot of people are willing to help. And if they can't, they will say no. But then a lot of times if they have to say no, they'll say, but talk to this person.
Yeah.
Or try this or try that. I don't have the time right now or the capacity. But most people are really, really helpful and really friendly and not as scary and intimidating as we think.
Exactly. And I mean, as we know, there's always going to be those couple bad apples, which when it gives the horse industry identity of being so intimidating with showing at this level. So sure, you might run into some of those, but those are the ones that you could just move on from and know that you didn't do anything wrong. Is like I said, as long as you're respectful and kind, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, exactly. So that's perfect. Do you have any closing thoughts that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think that it's a really fun opportunity to get to show so many classes, but I'm also just very lucky to be able to have a horse that came from such a different background and was found by such an important person in my life that isn't with us anymore. And be able to succeed with her has just been so special. And I'm very lucky that she's been so willing to rise up.
Yeah.
Because she didn't owe me anything, you know. She doesn't owe me any of these rides. She doesn't owe me any of these wins, but she's just such a willing horse.
Yeah.
And every time she comes out of her stall, she's ready to go. And I think, you know, if you can find that horse for you or you have that horse that you know is going to work for you, that's the one you need to do it with.
Yeah.
When I bought her, people were like, "What did you buy?" And I'm like, no, trust me, this horse, it's going to do it.
Yeah.
But so many people had no idea what I saw in this Palomino reining horse.
Yeah.
But I was so insistent. I really think that if you have that with a horse, you can do so much.
Yeah.
You don't need the 6-figure big time horse to go and be successful. If you have a horse that's willing and to the connection with that horse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so perfectly said, because you can take, I mean, she is not a lesser animal, but she is a different type of animal, right?
100%.
So you can take one that isn't bred for a certain thing, but if they've got the try and you have the commitment and the two of you share a bond, you can be unstoppable.
You can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Because watching you two out there in the showmanship and the horsemanship, other than the fact that she's a little shorter than everyone and has better hair, like, you look like you belong. And I think a big part of that is that connection that you guys have, and you just knock it out, bam, bam, bam. And it is fun to watch, and it draws you in. And I think that the connection that we have with our horses is what sets us apart when we get to the higher level, even if the horse is designed for that event. You know the people who have put the effort in, know their horse, and can go out there and show it and are enjoying every single second with that animal.
100%. And going back to, you know, you have so many 6-figure horses out there that should be out winning. And granted, they might be the best quote unquote mover or the best horsemanship horse, whatever. But if they don't have the willingness to do it, or their rider and them just don't get along and they don't have that connection, it's never going to happen.
Exactly. So find a horse that you enjoy, a horse that wants to try, and you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you have such a good time. Well, good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you.
We'll be rooting for you, and let's hit some more neck rib.
Right? That's the...
Well, good job, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high-quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.